Thanks for joining us today for FYI Friday. I'm Jessie and I'm the host, and here we are at Joe's Quilting Studio. So, today I'm going to talk about one of those things that you should put on every single quilt. It's a finishing thing, and funny enough, it actually only gets on 15% of quilt. And what I'm talking about is a quilt label. There's reasons why you need a quilt label. We always say that we make these quilts to last 100 and 150, 200 years, whatever, and nobody's going to know that you made it. Nobody's going to know that. Or let's say one time you were at the Goodwill and you saw some quilts over there and you're like, oh, I wonder if this person knows that her quilt ended up in Goodwill. Or you also want to make sure that when you give your quilt to that ungrateful relative and they put it in a closet and then they donate it out or leave it in a car or it just falls off into the parking lot at Buc-ee's, that whoever that helpful person is that finds it is able to get it back to you. So I'm not saying include a phone number on that, but maybe, just saying. But we're going to talk about the different ways that you can do quilt labels. We all do them different, and then I've got a little tutorial on how I do mine. So we actually offer an embroidery service in here that will do quilt labels. Alicia will digitize it for you. She can put a great little message in there. But this happens at the very end of the quilt. Once you get this label back, your binding's already on there, and then you got to come in and you whip stitch that on. Now, Alicia does her labels a little differently. She had hers made, and hers is like a little clothing tag. And hers says, Handmade with Love by Alicia Leek. It should say Handmade with Love in Tears and Blood and DNA by Alicia Leek, because we all know that's what we put in these things. Now, Alicia's also has washing directions on the back of hers. That's pretty cool because nobody really knows how to wash a quilt. Now, I actually put mine in the binding. I do mine for a very specific reason like this, and that's because instead of it being the last thing that I do, it gets put on during the binding stage. And so in that aspect, there's not a quilt that I've made that doesn't have a label on it. When you have these stitching alphabets in your sewing machine, it makes it very easy. But one of the big reasons why I do this is because I have a quilt in a very predominant place out in the wild out there, and it doesn't have a label on it any longer because somebody took it off. By doing it like this, that label can never be removed again. So follow us just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to show you how I do this stitching label on a regular sewing machine, and it goes in your binding, and I'll show you how to attach it to so you can read it. Now you know.